I got quite a few books, mostly for homeschool, but also some just for pleasure reading. Mostly on the kids' side this time though. So to get started, I was lucky enough to find some more Childcraft books. These aren't the colorful sort that I got last time, but I still think they're worthwhile, and they're actually volumes that I don't have. I very intelligently took a picture of the ones I did have so that if I ran into them again at the thrift store, I wouldn't get them again. This one is The Life Around Us. So it has things about animals and different types of plants, so that's useful. I got another one on how things change. So it has things about submarines, older trains, city buses, trolleys, how photographs and projectors changed, how we might have family robots one day instead of chores, and just about various things about change. I'm considering using just Childcraft books in our morning basket, making that sort of a fundamental layer so that it automatically kind of turns things around. This one is on make and do, so it has different activities like a paper chain, circus animal costumes, braided belts and ties, a whole variety of different activities. This one is on how things work. So it has things on the face of a clock, different types of fancy clocks, percussion instruments, eyeglasses, light bulbs. The thing I like about the Childcraft books is I actually learned quite a bit about things from them as well. The next one is People to Know, and so it talks about Belle Boyd, Lady Spy, during the Civil War. Let's see, what else do we have in here? There's just stories, also A Test of Courage. I think this is a Native American story. The Colonel's Last Fight. Ghostly Voices from Nowhere. And so this one seems mostly stories about actual people. The prisoners are loose. I don't know if my kids are ready for this one yet. This one's about Gandhi. But it should be good for our library. And then there's another one on holidays and customs. So it talks about shoes, it talks about flags, castles, kites, music boxes, birthdays, dress-up time, beacons and blinkers. And I like Childcraft books because they are so colorful, but they also go through a variety of things. Here's mud homes. It gives you a really broad view, ways to wear hair, a broad view of social studies and of the world that we live in. So those were 6 Childcraft books. I got this book, A Long Fatal Love Chase by Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women. I had never heard of this book at all, and so I'm excited to read it. Apparently, this was a story that was so sensational it couldn't be published during Louisa May Alcott's time, so it should be a good read for me. I got another book for myself called Let's Take the Long Way Home. This, I believe, won the Pulitzer Prize, and it's a memoir. Gail Caldwell was a book critic for the Boston Globe, and this is just a memoir of friendship. And apparently 2 authors, Gail Caldwell and Caroline Knapp, became best friends. They met because they both had dogs, and I think they ran into each other and developed a great friendship. So I look forward to reading that. I picked up quite a few, American Girls books. Kirsten Saves the Day, Meet Felicity, Kirsten Learns a Lesson, Meet Kirsten, Meet Josephina, Changes for Felicity. And those are always fun reads. I was a little bit obsessed with American Girls when I was little. My parents didn't have so much money when I was at the age for dolls, but they saved up enough to buy me Samantha, And I remember the box coming, and it was a long rectangular box, and it was supposed to be a surprise for me. So when I asked what was in the box, my dad said it was books. So I went to go sit on the box because you can sit on a box of books. And I remember him calling out like, no, don't sit on it. And I was like, why not? But I still have Samantha. She is in my parents' house, and hopefully one day when the girls get bigger, I'll give them the original Samantha doll. But yeah, so I have a soft spot for all things American Girls. I'm a little sad that it's become such a fad now because I tend to stay away from fads, so we'll see how that goes. I also got Samantha's cookbook. I think American Girls, though, are lovely in that they sell so many detailed little accessories. I used to save the catalogs when I was little and pretend that I had the things because I never got anything besides the actual doll. But it was really fun. I always keep an eye out for thrift stores and sales that people have on Facebook to get little dolls and things like that. This is just a blank journal that I got. It has Meet the Dinosaurs on it, and it's like a fabric cover, but it's completely unmarked and in good condition. And so I thought this would be a cute way to start a mom and son journal between my son and I. So I could write him a note, he could write back, and it's nice and cushiony. So I thought he would like it. Oh, The Secret, which obviously was a international bestseller. I never read it. I don't know that I'm so into things like, what is it called? Manifestation? Like The Power of Attraction or something like that. But I thought, you know, it's worth reading so that I know what I'm talking about when I say I either think that it has merit or doesn't. This is a reading book. Like I said, thrift stores are great for finding textbooks from schools. A lot of the major school publishers have very good textbooks that only contain full picture, full color renditions of published works by good authors. And this is another one that is very much like that. So it has pretty large color illustrations of the stories. And I just find it to be a great deal if you can get a book for $1 that has over 20 storybooks in it in full color. So I don't use them as part of a set curriculum. I really just use them as nighttime reading. I got some workbooks. This is a maps workbook. This seems right on level for first or second grade, so I think we'll use it after we finish our geography book this year. This is a book by American Girls again, Oh Brother, Oh Sister, A Sister's Guide to Getting Along. I thought this would be a really fun read for my middle child as she gets a little bit older. This is an Usborne book. If you don't know about Usborne, Usborne makes wonderful, wonderful resource books for children. This is Science for Beginners, Understanding Your Brain. It has nice little cartoons and little tests they can take and optical illusion things. It goes through memory, seeing, remembering, lots of different things about the brain. This is a Harcourt Science workbook. We actually have this book. I picked it up at a thrift store and we use it sometimes. So this is just the workbook to go along with it. I thought it would be fun to maybe use it and stick it into our interactive notebook or just use it in the car or something like that. This is an art book of Hieronymus Bosch. You can often find full color art books at the thrift store. If you do picture studies with your children, this is a great way of doing it. Obviously, Hieronymus Bosch has some works that I probably don't want my children to see just yet, but as they get older, it's nice to have on hand as a reference book for them to see this style of art. I bought a couple books about Hindu stories. They were by an Indian publisher. This is Sons of Shiva, and it's just like a cartoon book of the stories. Like I said, we are secular homeschoolers, so I want them to have a good broad range of exposure to different faiths and different stories from different faiths. This is another one of those Harcourt Brace books with full color stories in it. It does have activities in them as well, but really I just buy them, like I said before, for the stories and the poems inside them. Really lovely quality and beautiful illustrations. This is a blank book, memory book. This was 75 cents. It's got cute little pages. My 3, almost 4-year-old, I think will really enjoy practicing letters and sticking stickers in them and having a notebook that's fun. So whenever I see a cute blank book, I tend to pick them up. This is a summer vacation 3rd grade workbook. This was 50 cents, just to let you know like what you can find in a thrift store. And these retail for quite a bit, I believe. But it's just basically a summer workbook, and it's super varied in activities and very colorful, so I just thought it would be good to have on hand. This is a book by Margaret Wise Brown, who's one of my favorite children's authors. She wrote Goodnight Moon, obviously, and The Runaway Bunny, but this is called The Important Book, and it's just very sweet. The important thing about a spoon is that you eat with it. It's like a little shovel. You hold it in your hand. You can put it in your mouth. It isn't flat, it's hollow, and it spoons things up. But the important thing about a spoon is that you eat with it. And it just goes on, and it has some color pictures also. The important thing about rain, the important thing about Daisy, the important thing about grass, the important thing about snow, the important thing about the wind. She writes lovely little simple books. This is an Angelina Ballerina book, and you know, I find these books to be not the best in terms of stories, but if your child is into the character, I think if they enjoy flipping through the book on their own, if they enjoy having you read to them, that makes it worthwhile in my opinion. I know for myself, I really don't enjoy reading, for example, Transformers books, but I'm happy to do it if he enjoys it. So whatever they enjoy, I'll read, so long as I can supplement with my own classics and worthwhile stuff. Here's another level 3 math book. These I don't always use. Sometimes they are like varied in activities. Sometimes I'll just use a page just to mix it up, or make a copy of something they have like this, like a graphic organizer. But I find it nice to pick up these 50-cent workbooks, because if you just want to switch it up and have a different type of activity for them to do, or a different type of worksheet page, it's an easy way of finding something that's not the same as their everyday work. Here's a big book of activities, and it just has things like how to make a book pattern, how to make a paper pyramid. My son is very into paper art and paper crafts, so this is basically why I got it, because it tells you how to make pocket folders and circle mobiles and a whole bunch of different simple paper crafts. That seemed very useful for notebooking especially. Speaking of paper craft, here's Outrageous Origami, and it has nice little simple projects and instructions in it. And here's another little book, Where Do Snowflakes Go? You can find such beautiful books there that you can't, I really like that you can find books that you probably wouldn't find in a typical bookstore. So the exposure you get to different books in a thrift store is much greater than you would get in a commercial bookstore, as far as I'm concerned. And I do want my children to have a varied reading base. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, if you liked it, please hit the thumbs up below and don't forget to subscribe. I hope you have a great day.